Hello, welcome to the channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Well, I've learned something. I've had a mic for quite a while now and hadn't realised that I can do something with the Osmo Action 5 that I hadn't realised I could have done. Now, I do know that the mics actually do wirelessly transmit to the Osmo Action 5. What I didn't know was that you can plug in a wired mic into the actual DJI Mic 2 and transmit from that or wirelessly to the Osmo Action 5 like it's doing now. So the DJI Mic 2 is actually quite a cumbersome, quite a large mic. I don't know how much that wind's getting into the helmet, but let's take it down a bit. For me, for this actual helmet itself, there's no way I could get a DJI Mic 2 in there. It's definitely too big as that microphone. And I just thought, why not try plugging in a mic into the DJI Mic 2 and from there see if it transmits. I did a little test and it worked. So I just thought, why not then just carry on that way? I do actually have another mic I've recently purchased. Yes, it's getting very expensive buying little mics and things like that, but I bought one of those DJI mini mics, and that one's actually recording the bike, so any bike noise you hear now, that acceleration, that's come from the mic. That mic is actually in my pocket, just down here in my right hand pocket. It has a wind shield on there as well, so it shouldn't sound too windy, because actually where I am is very windy. Anybody who watches this channel often enough must know that I comment on the wind very often. So we're running two mics as we stand. Alright, filming off this one here, which is the Osmo Action 5, which both mics are transmitting to, and then I have that one, the Osmo Action 4. I'm actually riding in an area called Yanchep. Anybody who knows Perth will know Yanchep. Those people who have no idea where I'm riding, I live in Western Australia and predominantly ride up and down this coast. The coastline is massive actually. Western Australia as a state is massive. I live near Perth, in a suburb near Perth. I'm going to put the visor up now. We're travelling at 60k an hour and see what the wind's like. So hopefully that wind isn't actually causing too much dramas. I'm riding to a coffee shop actually. I'm going to have a coffee. It's taken me roughly an hour to get up here from where I live. Predominantly 70 kilometre an hour roads, which is very quite slow. I'm not a fast rider. I don't really accelerate heavily or anything like that, but on stretches of road, I mean even like this is deemed to be 60 kilometres an hour. There is some residential to the right here of me, but no one's around. It's a very large space, and yet it's 60 k's an hour, and in some parts it goes down to 50. So what's your thoughts on speed limits these days? I know in the UK they've got out of hand a fair bit. In some areas it's 20 miles an hour. So what do you think? Is it really to do with safety? It's a beautiful May day. 24.5 degrees. We're in autumn at the moment for our climate, for our season should I say. But would you believe it, we've hit roadworks. Well, I'm thinking I was going to pop in here actually. This is a place called Two Rocks, as you can see. And I was going to go actually to a coffee shop just across the way, but actually I might turn around actually and go down to a place called, well, more closer to Yanchep that I mentioned earlier. I think I mentioned Yanchep. And there's a coffee shop closer to the ocean. Let's have a turn around here. You know when you don't know where you're going and then you turn off to think you might just get down another road and sort of switch back on yourself. I hate switch back in here. It's always a dead end, isn't it? When you don't know and you just turn off. So I've sort of been settling into this Osmo Action 5. I refuse to call it a Pro because I don't think it's exactly Pro features that it's supposed to have, really. There has been a lot of controversy with this camera in relation to how it films with the contrast and saturation of it, and a little bit sort of high dynamic range. I'm just filming as is at this moment in time. Those who might be a little bit technical might know that you can film in what they call a flat rate, and then you can then do your coloration after the fact in post editing. But I'm just blending this into the footage just as it is. But yeah, to me, the Osmo Action 5 does look a little bit different and a little bit HDR-ish. Too much for me anyhow, as it films just in its own effect. So I'm not overly struck on that. A lot of people want to have the option to have a more natural look and turn off that HDR effect that's sort of automatically burnt into the footage. I'd like that option, but apparently DJI, they're not interested in doing that. Lots of customers have asked for it, and they don't think there's a need for it, apparently. That's the DJI side of things. They don't think there's a need. So over to the right of me, over that way, that's where the Indian Ocean is. And we're riding to somewhere where we'll get a better view of it. So whilst we're making his way down that way, just have a look in the garage and I'll show you how I've got all this set up.
So here we have the DJI Mic 2. Like I mentioned, it's quite cumbersome, it's quite big, will definitely not fit in my helmet. So not turned on as present. I'm using the Purple Panda mic. Now this actually is a tip ring sleeve, which means you need an adapter because the Osmo Action works off the TRS tip ring sleeve. I have an adapter. I'm not sure where I got this one from actually, if it's a DJI one. I don't think it is. I think it came with the Purple Panda actually, I think. So this converts the TRRS to a tip ring sleeve. Just like so. Then it's connected into the top of the Mic 2. And that's it. So this obviously attached into the helmet. This was in my pocket. And that's good to go. Now the audio you've heard so far is from this mic here. This is the mini mic that I had or have, because it's live is this, on the bike. And I'll turn this mic 2 on now and then you can hear the difference, or you'll hear this working. So I can see now on the Osmo Action 5 it's actually got both mics running. If I talk into this one just quietly, you can obviously hear that this is working through the Purple Panda. And the other mic here, just down here. And that's the simple setup, so really convenient. In the pocket, just fed up into the mic, into the helmet, and that's it. So going forward, as a wired wireless Bluetooth connection, I'm going to see how it goes. Apologies at this moment in time for the audio, because I have noticed now editing this video that there is actually some clipping, so apologies for that. I have done some more settings now to improve that. Anyhow, back to the guy, me, on the bike, heading towards the coffee shop.
So they've got cameras up there. This stretches from a 60 and then turns into a 90. There's no warning saying this camera's been in operation there, so I don't think they'll be issuing any tickets for that if anyone's going over. I think they're just monitoring it for speed. So the speed limit changes again now down to 60. Get the cruise control on, set it for that. Up this way there's lots of new houses being built. This is what you'd sort of describe as the outer suburbs now of Perth. This is north, and Perth suburbs go way down south as well. It would take you a good hour and a half to drive from, say, up this way, the outer suburbs of Perth, all the way to the outer suburbs of South Perth, this being obviously north. And not many towns or suburbs go further inland here because it gets too hot basically. In the summertime, inland, it would be horrendous. In the summertime here, again this is for people who may not know WA or Australia temperatures, but for WA, for Perth area, in the summer it can get up to around about 42, 43, I think even 44 degrees. Just watching him coming out, he seemed to be looking the other way before he was going to turn this way. That scares me. So yeah, it can get exceedingly hot here. So living inland would not make any sense really, even though there's some towns further east and there's old towns which would be farming towns, so obviously they have to be there for a reason, but they wouldn't develop new places there, put it that way. So we're in Yanchep and there's a coffee shop here. Let's stick in here, I think. Let's just go in here. So I'm going to grab a coffee. I shouldn't say that, I don't like that expression. I'm going to have a coffee and I'll be back in a minute. So actually, whilst I walk down to the coffee shop, this is why I came here. Nice outlook. And that's one massive ocean. All right, I'm going for a coffee. That was a very good cup of coffee. Wow, that came out of gear. I tapped it into first and it can't have obviously been in gear. And I've just coasted down there without needing to accelerate. And then realised I was in neutral. Yeah, it really is a nice little spot here. If they hadn't had the dogs, I wouldn't have let them through. Only joking. Someone's motorhoming. I think on the to the left of me here, there's a resort. I think it's called Yanchep Resort. Maybe it's elsewhere. I know there's a resort round here somewhere. And I think there's actually a golf club somewhere around as well. Alright, well, I'm heading home, so I think I'll leave this video here. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.